All right, we're almost back, baby. 2 weeks, I guess 2 weeks and 2 days from now, rookies will report to minicamp, and we're underway. I'll pull the whole schedule up here in just a minute. We haven't done that for quite a while for those who are curious. But Bears football is almost back. So, continuing on with the theme we've been doing, we've done defensive linemen, we've done offensive linemen, and now I'm going to continue on, predict the wide receivers that are going to make this 53-man roster. This one's not a tough one for me. I think the writing's on the wall for this one. How many will the Bears keep? Well, in years past, we've kept 6, 5. But last year, I pointed out to quite a few people, we ended up cutting Velus Jones Jr. in week 8. And really, the only reason we kept 6 on the roster is there was a lot of uncertainty with who would be doing return duties. Would it be Velus Jones Jr.? Would it be Tyler Scott? Would it be player ABCXYZ? Ended up being Josh Blackwell at the end of the year, who ended up doing really well with it. A lot of good contributors on special teams as well. Travis Homer, very valuable. We'll see what happens with the running back room if he makes it. Looks like he's poised that way with how much the Bears like him. But for wide receivers, we made some huge key additions. Rome Odunze coming into year 2. We're going to hit that. DJ Moore and all the crazy, seriously, guys, the speculation of trading him, he's not getting traded. I think people have finally realized that now. They've come to grips with that or terms with that. DJ Moore is way too valuable on this team, and there's a common theme. It looks like Ben Johnson likes his yak guys. He likes his quarterback to get the ball to his guy, and then he likes them to do their part too and get their yak yards. So yards after contact. And Luther Burden being drafted early second round. If you guys missed the insider info I had in that, it was revealed that the Bears were trying to trade up one spot with the New England Patriots to be able to secure who they wanted in the second round. It was not for running back, was not for Travion Henderson. It was for Luther Burden. They wanted Luther Burden. They were willing to trade one spot up, give up a 7th rounder. They also knew the Patriots probably weren't taking that wide receiver, but they wanted to secure it in. That happens all the time in the draft. Well, Patriots ended up taking Travion Henderson. Bears got Luther Burden, so they're very happy with it. Then you've got some dark horses right behind me in the picture there. Maurice Alexander, who came with Ben Johnson from the Lions. Is he going to sneak onto this roster somehow? Miles Boykin, another sleeper who a lot of potential, never quite hit that potential. But as it lines up right now, it's pretty obvious. You've got DJ Moore, you got Rome Odunze, you got Luther Burden III, you got Devin Duvernay, who feels there's not that question this year because he is the clear returner. He is the return guy. Never goes wrong in Chicago when you got a returner named Devin. I'm not comparing him to Hester, not saying he's nearly as good, but he is a solid top of the league return man, and he's going to make a difference there for us. And then wide receiver 4, Olamide Zaccheaus. I think a lot of us were surprised by that signing, but a consistent guy, and I'll show you some of the stats in here that show he's even better than maybe we thought he was. So I posed this on the tight end video, Tyler Scott or Joel Wilson. That was when Joel Wilson was being, praised by coach and how good he is and how he's the standout player on offense so far through camp. I think Tyler Scott's the odd man out, guys. I posted that on Twitter earlier today. And when you look at the meat and potatoes of these guys, Tyler Scott, just for whatever reason, that blazing speed, 4.4 speed, but, reports indicate that at his pro day, he ran 4.32. Was that accurate? Was that, 2 stop clocks being wrong? Who knows? But he's been quick. He just never pulled it together. Last training camp, there was a lot of buzz around him. He was constantly a healthy scratch because, as you know, there's 53 on the roster and only 47 of those dressed for games. 47 or 46? 47. If I'm wrong on that, it's because offseason's been going on too long. Sorry about that, guys. But anyways, there's 6 or 7 healthy scratches every week, and he was always on that healthy scratch list. But we've got this year, you see those top 5. Last year, you had Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, DeAndre Carter, and Tyler Scott. That was our primary 5 guys. Now, our new additions, we've gotten rid of DeAndre Carter, and Keenan Allen's gone as well. You've got Olamide Zaccheaus, Luther Burden, and Devin Duvernay. And Devin Duvernay definitely fills that returner role. That's not going to be even something in question this year. But I pulled up the most important stats for me, something you guys might want to see. Drops are always big, but as a rookie, I excuse drops quite a bit. I say there's usually a 3 or 4% gap in that rookie year. So if Rome had 8.5 in college, remember he only had 3% drops his entire college career. Coming into the league, an adjustment, Things changing there. 8.5, it's not bad for a rookie. That's not terrible. DJ Moore, seasoned vet, 3.0 is absolutely phenomenal. Same with Cole Kmet. He's not on here because that's the only wide receivers, but Cole Kmet always in the 2 range. That's best in the league. When you're only dropping 2-3%, that's best in the league. Keenan Allen, 10%, very uncharacteristic for him. Working with rookie quarterback, I don't know. DJ Moore didn't have those issues, didn't have nearly as many drops. Excuse me. Keenan Allen with more yards, but DJ Moore with more catches and better catch percentage rate and lower drop rate. So that's a good thing. Excuse me. Contested catch percentage, to me, this is really only a bigger deal for your slot guys and, well, I guess for everybody, but your slot guys and your X receivers. They're the ones that have to fight off contested catches more often than not. And you can see down here, this is Luther Burden at the bottom. So he's a rookie, obviously. So I put his stats for the last 3 years. This 2023 season was his biggest season. That was the season where everybody was, I mean, there was one analyst who had him projected to go number 1 overall before the 2024 season. So you do your mock drafts a year in advance. So guys are doing that now. So after last season, they start doing mock drafts for next season before the season even plays out. Luther Burden was a consensus top 10 among most draft boards. Then as the season went along, you can see he had a drop-off this year. He went from 1,209 yards to 676. Now, every analyst will tell you that was the system, that was the coaching and the changes and the same quarterback, but different. Everything was changing there, so it was a lot harder in Missouri. Missouri had a very down year. They're not blaming that on Luther Burden. In fact, he had a higher NFL passer rating to him. So I know that's a quarterback stack, but NFL passer rating, his quarterbacks had a higher pass rating to him than anybody else on the team. So he was leading the team in how effective and efficient he was. Just a down year for Missouri. So that plummeted his draft stock. Most thought he would be a late first rounder. Well, he fell to 39, and the Bears snagged him, obviously. Got a steal. One of the biggest steals. Most analysts will tell you that's one of the biggest steals of the draft, getting Luther Burden in the second round at 39. So very good. But you can see 2023, 1,209 yards, 9 touchdowns. All of his grades are really good. His yak was 8.4, which is absolutely ridiculous. This last year, still 6.1, and his first year, 6.6. So those are all really good. Drop percentage low, 4.7, 4.4, good that first year, rookie year. Same thing. So you can make the same comparison of what I'm talking about here with Rome. You're coming into college, there's an adjustment when you're playing a new level of play. 13.2 that first year, and then it came down. He adjusted to the league. Same with contested catch, 25 and then 56, 54. Anything above 50 is a really good contested catch rate. And you can see all these guys are pretty good at that. Lamade Zaccheaus. Now, these are limited sample size. Devin Duvernay, not really known for his receiving. Back in the day, he had a couple good years with Baltimore there. But Devin Duvernay, only 16 targets, 100% contested catch, but I think it was 1 of 1. So one contested opportunity, and he took that one. But his catch percentage is good. Drop rate, good. Obviously didn't drop any of those 11 catches or 16 targets. The other 5 were just uncatchable, out of range, so they're not dropped. And Tyler Scott, same thing. One target, 1 catch. But here's the new one that I'm incorporating that I've talked a lot about on the channel. It's EPA per play. Okay, so this is per target is what this is. EPA per target. And it's not just, or not per target, I'm sorry, EPA per play that they're in, per snap that they're in the game, because there's other ways they contribute. And just like Ben Johnson talked about, no block, no rock, that's kind of become the theme for this offseason. Tyler Scott is not the guy that you look at and say, okay, block and rock. He's going to block. Tyler Scott, I mean, he's got a little mean in him, but it has not showed up on the field. And you see 1-for-1 catches, you'd think that EPA would be higher, and he had 7 yards after contact on that, or after the catch on that one catch. So I believe it was a screen, so he had lots of opportunity there. But his EPA still only 7 snaps, I believe, on the year, and his EPA was negative 0.01 per snap, which is not good. Not good at all. You want that to be, so from what I'm looking at so far with receivers, you want that to be around the 0.6, 0.7 range for your EPA. Keenan Allen obviously helped Caleb a lot in his rookie year. Those drops not great. Contested catch is good. Yards after contact, not what he's known for. After catch, not what he's known for. DJ Moore, 6.1 is phenomenal. 6.1, but the same opportunity. He had a lot of those screen plays where there's a lot of open space, but he creates a lot too. And if you go look at tape, Luther Burden is that same type of player. Go look at his highlights over college. Just Google it, YouTube it, put it in there. You're going to see Luther Burden's a special athlete. He's big. They like him. he's going to create some plays. He's going to create some opportunities. So I don't know if this is helpful to some of you guys. I know this doesn't mean a whole lot, but this kind of surprised me with Olamide Zaccheaus. Of his plays that he was in, a .13. So his team was more productive with him on the field. There's a lot that contributed to the Commanders having the season they did and going all the way to the NFC Championship game. There was a lot that contributed to that. And Olamide Zaccheaus was a big part of that. 72.6% catch percentage, 10% drop. So not phenomenal there, but 50% contested catch. His EPA was high. His yak was high. He's most likely going to start the season as our slot receiver, especially with Luther Burden missing so much time. And I'm going to give it a little, what do you call it? Cliff notes. I went through and watched all the interviews again from Ben Johnson and from the offseason so far, training camp, the draft, everything on these primary guys. And I'm going to give a little breakdown of what he said about them so far. But point out if anything other way on the camera, anything in there surprises you. I think Rome Odunze is primed. 56.3% catch percentage was really low, but he and Caleb were constantly not on the same page. And going through 3 offensive coordinators, going through 2 head coaches, on a rookie year, having 700 plus yards and having the year that he did with 72.2% contested catch rate. There are very few rookies that have over 70%. There were only three players in the NFL last year that had over 70%, and Rome was 72.2%. And when a rookie has 72% contested catch rate or higher, their career, phenomenal. So my big, bold prediction for this year, Rome Odunze will be a top 10 wide receiver and will surpass 1,250 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's my bold take for the year. I think he'll be our wide receiver 1 by the end of the year, and I think the connection between him and Caleb Williams is only going to get stronger and stronger. When you watch his highlights from last year, in fact, I'll pull some of them up here just so you guys can see some of what I'm talking about. Turn the sound off. I don't know if I'll get flagged for this, so if this gets cut out, I probably should have said that before this. But watch Rome as you go through the season. These are kind of chronological. I've started here at the Commanders game, but as you go farther into the season, I've pointed out some of these highlights. He became open. He became reliable. He wasn't afraid to take hits, even though Caleb led receivers into some tough plays sometimes. And I think he got better on that as I've watched things over and over again as you get in later into the year. But his anyways, I think he's a budding star. Let me pause this. All right, so pause that. Take me off screen. We'll get me out of here. Get back to the point of this video. So here's the wide receivers right now who are competing in camp. You got DJ Moore and Luther Burden. I do think Olamide Zaccheaus will start the year as the slot, but I think Luther Burden will take over from him. And Luther Burden's, I should show highlights on here. I know some of you guys love the highlights more than anything, so I probably should do some more of that stuff. So maybe you guys like that last portion more than anything. Maybe I should do more of that. But Luther Burden's highlights from last year, really special too. And then there's Rome. Devin Duvernay, really the return duties, but he'll get some snaps in there as well. I think Tyler Scott is going to be the odd man out here. And then, some of these guys, good potential. We'll see how camp plays out. But here's your salary cap implications. You got these 3 for the next several years. So really DJ, Rome, Luther. Some things I pointed out here. The start of 2024 regular season, Chicago Bears carried 6 wide receivers on their initial 53-man roster. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, Tyler Scott, Velus Jones Jr., DeAndre Carter. And primarily return duties were uncertain. They were trying Velus Jones at running back, and then Velus ended up being cut on week 8. We did primarily carry 5 through most of the season, but Tyler Scott was really a healthy scratch as well. But here's an important note as Ben Johnson as an OC. He's been an OC for the last 3 years. So the start of the 2022 regular season, Detroit Lions carried 5 wide receivers. Start of the 2023, 5 wide receivers. Start of 2024, only 4 wide receivers on their 53-man roster. Now, primarily that the fifth one was Jameson Williams, and he was suspended for the first 6 or 8 games of last season. So that's why they only carried 4. Through the majority of this, they actually ended up calling up some guys, Tim Patrick, a couple guys from their practice squad for those games. You can call guys up from the practice squad for games. So they had 5 for most games. But they did start the season with 4, and I think Ben Johnson's really in that same mindset with the Bears here. We've got the return duties solidified. Devin Duvernay and really Josh Blackwell. Those are your 2 primary receivers. So you got those 2 guys. And then you've got your slot guy, Olamide Zaccheaus, DJ Moore as your Z, Rome Odunze as your X, Luther Burden, a learning slot who will probably take over in the slot. Devin Duvernay can play the Z, even potentially play the X if needed. And I'm not saying we won't carry guys on the practice squad. Maybe Miles Boykin goes to our practice squad. Maybe Ja'Day Walker, who there's been a lot of buzz around. Maybe Maurice Alexander. A lot of these guys will try to find an opportunity somewhere, but I really think we're starting the initial five. I think we're starting with 5 on the roster to begin the year, not 6. And it's a massive upgrade. If you look at last year compared to this year, Rome Odunze, I know Keenan Allen might not seem like he's a downgrade to people. A lot of people wanted us to re-sign him. But the upside of Luther Burden and Olamide Zaccheaus and the youth there, Keenan Allen is getting over the hill. Word is he hasn't signed because he's trying to hold out for either the Chargers or the Bears. I don't think the Bears are interested in bringing Keenan Allen back this year. But Olamide Zaccheaus is a huge upgrade from DeAndre Carter, and then Devin Duvernay is a huge, upgrade from Tyler Scott. So that's what I've got is our 53-man roster projection from me. And this is purely just for hype's sake. I know that's tiny on your screen, so I apologize. But as I do this, I kind of write down my notes, and I went through everything so far in our top 3 receivers just to see what coaches have said about them. So I'm just going to run through this quick. You can pause it if you want to, read it. But this is kind of fun to fill you in on where they're seeing with things. The biggest, most exciting one for me is Rome Odunze in the middle there. So I'm going to start with him. Ben Johnson sees Rome Odunze as a poised, disciplined, and ready to upgrade young receiver, a seasoned pro, it's a quote, in approach despite being early in his career. Ben Johnson emphasized Odunze's approach in meetings, walkthroughs, and on-field drills, stating it mirrored that of experienced veterans. He specifically credited position coaches Antoine Randall and Robbie Picasso for helping to maximize his potential. Coach noted Odunze's consistency in spring sessions to be, and this is a quote, to be a second-year guy, you would expect a little bit more inconsistency, and yet it's very much like a seasoned pro, some of the very best that I've been around. He added, I think we're going to see a lot of growth from him once we get to camp. So that to me is him highlighting and indicating he is poised to take over wide receiver 1 status. X receiver is usually the wide receiver 1 for teams. Rome is poised to do that. I'm really excited for Rome. DJ Moore, there was a little bit of there was one little bumpy road there where coach brought up DJ's mannerisms as well as Caleb's on the sideline, showing a little bit too much emotion. Go through a 10-game losing streak, and you're going to get a little bit of that, a little bit of frustration. Go through 3 offensive coordinators, 2 head coaches. There's going to be some frustration. But beyond that, Ben Johnson praised DJ Moore as one of the best run after the catch receivers in the NFL and emphasized that Chicago's offense needs to find a way to get him a ball a certain amount of times in every game. That's a quote. He stated he is very excited about DJ Moore in this offense, on Moore's development under his leadership. After observing offseason work, Johnson noted Moore's increased motivation and said he saw a guy that's highly motivated, willing to do whatever it takes to become a more complete receiver. So I like seeing that he thinks DJ Moore is willing to take the next step too. Often when you get a high caliber head coach, when you get something like this coming in, it's easy for the team to motivate around, but for them to point it out looks really good. Luther Burden III, probably more negative than anybody else. Coach Johnson is not afraid to point out when he's disappointed by something. He wanted to see Luther Burden on the field a little bit more. So shortly after drafting him on April 26th, Ben Johnson was full of enthusiasm. I think everybody heard this part. He called him a stud. When they asked him about him initially, he's a stud. That was his quick response. He's a stud. Playmaker waiting to happen. Praised his rare skill set, 6 foot, 200 plus pounds. It's rare to see someone with his movement skills. He can stop on a dime and accelerate just like that. Give him a little bit of space and he can make big things happen. A dangerous player and a weapon. I see big things in the future. And that's a direct quote. Okay, so he sees big things for him. The notes that I put here at the bottom are things that I think he's trying to temper things, trying to make Luther Burden work for it. He views Burden as a foundational talent, big, agile, and dynamic, a future star in the making. Holds him to a high standard. Missing OTAs and minicamp cost trust, familiarity, and development time. That's a quote from Ben Johnson. So he says missing OTAs and minicamp cost trust, familiarity, and development time. So I think he's going to have a little lag in his development, but I do think he's going to get up to speed and eventually be the starting slot receiver for us. So watching how fast Burden jumps into camp's reps will be a key storyline moving forward. So as we return from camp here on the 19th, it's going to be big to see how Luther Burden, see how Colson Loveland, those two are going to be some of the biggest storylines to see how they get involved and to see, who they take reps with and how they progress in the offseason. So as I mentioned, I'd bring this up. Here is the schedule upcoming. Not all these are for the Bears. It just shows you timelines of everything. So important dates to know. Preseason rookie training camps on July 19th. That is a Wednesday, I believe. And then shortly after the rookies, the entire team reports. That'll be on July 22nd. So we're in the month. We're close. We're two weeks and 2 days away and almost 3 weeks. Not 3 weeks. 2 weeks and what is that? 5 days away. 2 weeks, 2 days, and 2 weeks, 5 days away from the entire team reporting. Then the Hall of Fame game, which is not the Bears, that's the Chargers and the Lions. That'll be on July 31st. The first preseason game for the Bears will be versus the Dolphins on the 10th. Then the 17th will be the Bills. And then at the Chiefs on Friday, August 22nd, for our final preseason game. Then the 53-man roster cutdown, which is what we're leading up to with all of this, will be on August 27th. So I think that's a Tuesday. Maybe it's a Wednesday. Either way, they always do it on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. So that 53-man roster cutdown will be at 3 p.m. Central Time on August 27th, and the final day of training camp, where you must wrap it up. Every team must be wrapped up by August 31st, and then we get into the season. They'll get into their season routine of how they handle things for the week and go through walkthroughs and game film. And there's not a lot to film on, but they'll do their prep work, and then they'll have the season. We are the last game of that first season. So the opening week of the season begins Dallas and Philadelphia on the 4th. We will be Monday Night Football, 7:15 p.m. Central Standard Time versus the Vikings. I'll be there. Hopefully some of you guys will be there too, but that's the upcoming schedule for this. But go ahead and comment down there. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, do that by now. Let me know your guys' thoughts, though. Is Tyler Scott cooked? Is he out of the Bears? Is he going to be a roster cutdown? I do. I think it's all but a certain. I'd give it 99%. I think Tyler Scott is cooked at this point. He's had his chances. He has not set himself aside or apart. He is not. And then we drafted Luther Burden. We brought in Olamide Zaccheaus, and these guys are true playmakers, and they aren't just potential. They're guys who, they will shine. So Rome Odunze in year 2, DJ Moore. And I think we'll have a decent practice squad as well. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Till next time, appreciate you tuning in. Da Bears, and bear down.